dear students, today I am going to start the new chapter, that is class 8th science. In that first chapter, crop production and management. So we have studied that in the earlier classes all the living organisms require the food for their growth, for their development. So all the living organisms require the food, and the animals and some living organisms are not capable of preparing their own food. So only the plants are preparing the food by the photosynthesis process. So we have to depends on we the human beings and other animals are directly or indirectly depends on these plants for the food. The food is a basic need for all the living organisms, and also this food is required. Why the food is required? Because it required to carry out the life processes such as digestion, nutrition, and to maintain the structure of the body, and for the excretion, respiration, and all these things. And so many life process takes place in the body. For all these things we need the energy. From where the energy we get the energy from the food. So we are not capable of preparing the food, so we are depends on these plants. Since the food is required for the large scale population, it is necessary to take care of the crop production and management. It is required, it is a basic need to in order to see the crop production and management. It is necessary to take care of this crop production and management. Now let us discuss about how this crop production is done and how what are the process takes place in the management of this crop production during the cultivation. So in order to provide the food for the large scale population, we have to take care of the crop production and the management of this crop production. We have to take care of these things. So this is important. Crop production and management is one of the important factor. It is required. So in the earlier people in till 10,000 before Christ exists, okay, people were like the wanderers. They used to wander everywhere for their food and shelter. They were not permanent in one place. They used to wandering for their food and shelter, and they used to eat all the raw food, vegetables, fruits which are available in their environment. Whatever they get, they used to eat in order to satisfy their basic need, like that. So slowly they found the methods. They learned how to cultivate, how to eat the vegetable, how to make use of the things which are available in the nature. So they learned how to cultivate the crops and how to do the agriculture. So this is how the agriculture was born. Slowly the agriculture was born by learning new techniques. People started cultivating these crops. So what does it mean? What is the meaning of crop? Crop is nothing but it's a the planting of same kind of the plants on a large scale is known as a crop. Okay, what is the meaning of crop? When the plants of same kind are cultivated at one place on large scale, it is called a crop. Crop means when the same kind of plants are grown at one place on large scale, it is known as a crop. So we can give so many examples for the crops such as wheat, rice, then soya bean, peanuts, etc. And based on the variety, we can see different types in the crops such as vegetable, cereals, fruits, etc. These are the types in the crops. These are vegetables, cereals, fruits, etc. These are the types of crops. So based on the season, okay, we can't grow all the plants, all the crops whenever we require. So based on the season we grow these crops. So in India we can see wide variety. There is diversity in the climatic condition. uh, there is the country is very wide, that is why we can see variety in the climatic condition. There is a difference in climatic condition, okay. Temperature, humidity, average rainfall of the place, it vary from one place to another. So uh, in spite of that, we can classify this production of crops based on the we won't grow all the plants, we won't grow all the crops in one place, okay. We are not able. So, like if you take jute or cotton, mainly jute, if you take jute is one type of crop. So in Karnataka you can't grow because it depends, the production of the crop depends on the humidity, temperature and average rainfall, such these climatic conditions. So we are not able to grow all the crops in one place. Despite of that, mainly broadly we can classify the crops into two types based on the season. Based on pattern of growing the crops, we can classify them into two types, okay. Based on the growing of pattern of growing the crops, we can classify them into two types. One is Kharif crops, another one is Rabi crops. There are two types of crop growing pattern. So what is Kharif crops? Kharif crop means the crops which are grown during the rainy season, during the monsoon. So especially these crops are grown during the rainy season, means from June to September. In India, rainy season, monsoon means from June to September. So which are the crops which can grow in Kharif crop during the monsoon season, such as paddy, maize, soybean, groundnuts, coconut are the Kharif crops. We can cultivate these crops Kharif crops during the monsoon. And another type of crop growing pattern is Rabi crops. Okay, what is this Rabi crop? The Rabi crops are grown during the winter season, means from October to March. We consider October to March as the winter season. So Rabi crops example, if I want to give, such as peanuts, then grams, wheat, mustard and linseed. So these are the crops which are grown during the Rabi crop, which are grown during the winter season. Besides these, during the summer season, along with these crops, okay, during the summer season, people will grow the different types of pulses, vegetables and all. Now let us discuss about the basic practices of crop cultivation. So what are the practices has to be taken? What are the practices included in the production of the crops? So when you cultivate the crops, the farmers has to follow several steps. Farmers have to follow several steps in order to get the good qualitative crops. So it has to follow some practices. So it follow some procedure. So also not only during the cultivation of the crops, also when you grow some ornamental plants in your garden, when you grow any plants, you have to take care of that. You have to nurture the plants. Then only you will get the good qualitative crops. So now let us discuss the practices which are used to, and the practices which are practiced during the crop cultivation is known as the agricultural practices. These activities are known as the agricultural practices. Now let us discuss these steps. Agricultural practices include 7 steps. They are preparation of soil, sowing, adding manure and fertilizers, irrigation, protecting from weeds, harvesting and storage. These are the steps included in the agricultural practices. Which are they? Preparation of soil, sowing, adding manure and fertilizers, irrigation, protecting from weeds, harvesting and storage. Now let us discuss one by one. The first step is preparation of soil. First step in the agricultural activities is the preparation of the soil. So what does it mean? Why it is important? This preparation of the soil is the important task in the production of the crop. So what happens in the preparation of the soil? So here the people will dig the soil. So when they dig the soil, the soil will be turned, and in order to turn the soil and in order to loosen the soil, the preparation of the soil is important. So why this loosening of the soil? Why it is important to loosen the soil and to turn the soil? Because when the soil is loosed, when you turn the soil, what happens? The roots of the plant can go into the depth level, and so it can the roots can breathe easily through the pores in the soil. So it can easily breathe. And also why we have to allow the roots to breathe? Because in the soil, when you turn the soil, when you lose the soil, what happens? It helps in the growth of the farmer friends. Who are they? It helps to grow. It helps in the growth of the earthworms and some microbes and all. So these microbes and earthworms, because of their activities, they will add the humus to the soil. So it increases the nutrients. As you have already studied in the 7th standard, what happens when the animals die? So first the plant will take the nutrients and they will grow, and they will supply the food to the other living organisms and to it. After some time it will die, and when all these animals and plants die, after that they will decompose and the nutrients will be again returned to the soil. This is how the nutrition cycle continues. So in order to absorb these nutrients which is required for the plants, in order to prepare its food, in order to synthesize the food, it requires the water, minerals, soil, everything. So that is why these living microbes and earthworms will help in absorbing the nutrients from the soil. So we have to turn the soil, we have to lose the soil. So that is the important task in the preparation of the that is an important task in the agricultural activity. Before we are sowing the seeds, we have to prepare the soil for the in order to get the nutrients for the seed, for its nurture. Since only a few centimeters of the soil supports the growth of the plant, growth of the crop, so it is necessary to it is necessary to loosen the soil, it is necessary to turn the soil, and it is important to add the manure in order to increase the nutrients, minerals of the soil. So the soil will become rich in nutrients. So it is this preparation of the soil before sowing the seed is the important task in the agricultural activities. So the process of loosening and turning of the soil is called the flowing or tilling. The process of loosening or turning of the soil is called the flowing or tilling. So what does it mean? Here they use the flow, and they will flow the ground. So the soil will become loose. The soil will turn and the soil will become loose. So before And during flowing, we have to add water, we have to put water, we have to moisten the soil. Sometimes the soil may have the big clumps of the soil, so that is known as the crumbs. Okay, sometimes the field may have the big clumps of the soil, that we call it as crumbs. In order to it has to be level, it has to be proper in order to sow the seed, in order to cultivate the crops. So before sowing the seed, it is necessary, while flowing, we should water the field, we should moisten the ground, and we have to level. Flowing is done using the flow. Okay, this flow is made up of iron or the wooden material, so it is used to flow the field. So this step, while preparing the soil for cultivation of the crops, this process takes place: flowing the field, then watering and leveling the field, and moistening. So the soil will become very smooth, very soft, so the roots can go in depth into the soil. It can easily absorb the required water, minerals, and required nutrients. Okay, now let us discuss about the agricultural implementation. Before sowing the seed, it is necessary to prepare the soil for the cultivation of the crop. So while preparing the soil, so we have to use some kits, we have to use some tools in order to in order to level, in order to water the surface, in order to cultivate, so we can get the better yield. So we use different tools in the agricultural activities, such as flow, hoe, and cultivators. Now let us discuss about what are these: flow, hoe, and cultivator. How does it look? What is the structure of these agricultural tools?
So the first agricultural tool which is used in the agricultural activities is flow. So this has been used from the ancient time for tilling the soil. So, and also in order to add the fertilizers to the crop and to remove the weeds and turning the soil. So sometimes the field may contain the unwanted weeds. So this flow is used to remove all those things and to add the fertilizers to the crop. So this flow is made up of wood or using the iron material, and is drawn by a pair of bulls or other animals. So animals are used for flowing the field. It contains a strong triangular iron strip called flowshare. The main part of the flow is a long log of wood which is called a shaft. So the main part of the flow which has the long log of wood is known as the flow shaft. There is a handle at the end of the shaft. The other end of the flow shaft is attached to the beam which is placed on the bull's neck. You can see here. Okay, there are two ends. The remaining two ends is attached to the bull's neck. One pair of bulls and a man can easily operate this flow. One man is required. In the ancient time, one man is required. Man is to flow. A man along with the two bulls has to flow the field. So the indigenous wooden flow is increasingly being replaced by iron flows nowadays. In the present condition, people is to use the iron flow. Now instead of flow also the people is to use the machines in order to loosen and turn the soil in order for tilling purpose. The next material which is used in the agricultural activity is hoe. Hoe is a simple tool. This is used to remove the weeds and in order to loosen the soil. They'll just dig using the hoe. It has a long rod of wood or iron. So this hoe is made up of iron or wood. A strong, broad and bent plate of iron is fixed to the end of its ends and works like the blade. So it have the iron material, or yeah, present days we use the hoe made up of iron material in order to remove the weeds and to loosen the soil. So it acts like the blade. It is pulled by the animals. Nowadays, instead of using that flow, people is to use the cultivator. Okay, cultivator is another agricultural tool which is used to flowing. So the nowadays flowing is done by the tractor driven cultivator. So to the tractor, cultivator is attached. So it saves the labor and the time. So making use of this cultivator, it saves the labor charge and the time. So these are the materials which is used in the agricultural activities.
Okay, the second method in the agricultural practice is sowing the seeds. So sowing the seeds is an important stage in cultivating the crops. So while sowing the seeds, we have to take care. We have to see the quality of the seeds. We have to select the seeds which are of good quality, which yield the good products at the end. So this is a important task. So sometimes if you take some wheat seeds, if you take some wheat and if you put them in if you take any cereals or wheat or anything, you put them in water, what happens? Some seeds will float, some will sink. So what is the reason for floating? So is there any connection? Yes, the meaning, some seeds will float on the water. The reason is they are not of good quality. They are the damaged seeds. They does not yield the good thing. It is a waste material. So we have to separate the unwanted, the damaged seeds from the good seeds. So we have to be selective while sowing the seeds. So this is one method, putting them in water, and we have to use the best method to collect the good qualitative seeds. After that we have to sow the seeds. So while sowing the seeds, people is to use the traditional method. In the fluffing material only, they used to connect one funnel like structure. So they will put the seeds in the funnel, and while flowing only, this funnel will sow the seeds. So in the ancient days, people used to use this material, funnel like structure they used to use while sowing the seeds. Nowadays, people is to use the seed drills. Okay, along with the cultivator, people is to use the seed drills. So what happens when you put the seeds in the seed drills? It will sow the seeds uniformly in the field. So it does not create any irrigation, any overcrowding of the plants. Okay, any overcrowding of the seeds. So uniformly it will sow the seeds, and after sowing the seeds, this sow seeds uniformly at the distance and the depth. It ensures that the seeds get covered by the soil after sowing. So this protects. So once once the seed is sowed, it sees that the soil will protect the seed. So the soil will be covered by the seed. So it ensures that the bird will not, the other insects will not eat the seeds. So this is one of the benefit of the using the seed drills. It saves the time and the labor also. And also appropriate distance and depth of sowing the seed is required. While sowing the seed, it is necessary to see that there is approximate, there is proper distance and depth is maintained to sow the seeds while sowing the seeds. So it should not create overcrowding of the plants. So all the plants, when you take care of this when you take care of this sowing the seed, so the plants will grow properly. The plants will get a proper amount of sunlight, water, minerals, everything. So we have to take care of the distance between the plants. Otherwise it will be the problem. The plants will not get the required proper nutrients for growing, for the growth. It does not yield the good qualitative crops at the end. The next important task in the agricultural activity is adding the manure and fertilizers to the soil. So what is this manure or the fertilizers? The substances which are added to the soil in the form of nutrients for the healthy growth of plants are called manure or fertilizers. The substances which are you added to the soil in the form of nutrients for the healthy growth of the plants are called manure and fertilizers. So why does it important? What is the importance of this? Because the for the growth of the healthy plant, it requires the nutrients. If the soil is not rich in nutrient, it does not yield the good product. That is why the soil has to be rich in nutrients. So we have to add the manure and fertilizers to the soil in order to get the good qualitative crops. So it is necessary to add it is essential to add the manure and fertilizers to the soil to get the good productive crops. So if the farmer continuously if one crop is taken, after that if he continues without adding the manure to the soil, if he keep on continuing cultivating the crops, what happens to the quality of the soil? Does the nutrients remain there only? The soil will lose the condition of the soil. The soil will lose the nutrients. The soil will become poor nutrients. So that is why we have to take care of the soil. From the soil only the plant will get the required materials for the good product in order to yield. So if the farmer continuously cultivate the crops without without adding the fertilizers or the manure, it will result in the weak yield of the plant. That is why we have to add the fertilizers to the soil. So the process of adding the fertilizers and manure to the soil is known as the manuring. So this process has to be done in order to increase the nutrients quality of the soil. So this fertilizers and manuring, you know what is fertilizers and manuring. What they do, the farmers will dig one pit and they will add the waste materials, the animal waste, the plant waste, kitchen waste and all, and they will add the soil and they will prepare the compost. So this compost this will be rich in nutrients. So you have studied about this vermicomposting. What they do, they will take some vegetable waste, kitchen waste and the decomposable waste, and they will add to the soil in one pit. They will add to the soil and they will add a few earthworms also. They will make the manure. So they are very rich in nutrients. So that helps in the growth of the plant, healthy growth of the plant.
The improper or the insufficient manuring results in the weak plants. Means you have to, there is a limit, there is quantity. We have to add this much amount of manure to the soil, otherwise the plants does not get the required amount of if the manure is not sufficient, it does not yield the good result. That is why we should know the quantity of adding the manure. Okay, for the growth of the plant, we can add the manure or the fertilizers. What is manure? Manure is an organic substance which is obtained from the decomposition of plants and animal waste. So here this preparation of the manure is a organic method. So it is organic, it is eco-friendly. How it is obtained? It is obtained from the decomposition of plant and animal waste. So what happens? You have studied in the 6th standard how the vermicomposting is done. By we make use of the kitchen waste or the vegetable fruits waste and all decomposing material, and we will make one pit. In that we will add the soil and this kitchen waste decomposing material, and we will add few earthworms, so they will decompose, they will help the soil to decompose, and the microbes present in them, they will decompose and they will prepare the vermicompost. So this manure, the vermicomposting is that is the manure. So that is very rich in nutrients, that is required for the healthy growth of the plant. It does not harm the environment. It is a very good method of manuring the crops. Now let us conduct an activity which is better for the growth of the soil, which results in the good fertility of the soil by adding manure or the fertilizers, which results the quick growth of the plant. Let us understand this through this video. There is one activity in your textbook.
What you can see on the screen are sacks of manures and fertilizers. So what is their function? They are added to soil to increase its nutrient content so that plants can have a healthy growth. Time for us to perform an activity. Take 3 equal-sized seedlings of gram seeds and sow them in 3 glasses containing soil. We can label these glasses as A, B and C. We now add manure to glass A and urea to glass B. What about glass C? Well, we add nothing to glass C. We then add equal amount of water to all these 3 glasses daily and then record the growth of seedlings after some time. After some time, you will observe that the seedlings in glass B show maximum growth. But what about the other seedlings? The seedlings in glass A show less growth than those in glass B, but they show more growth than the seedlings in glass C. This means that the seedlings in glass C show the least amount of growth. So this indicates that urea increases the growth rate of plants.
So in this activity, we have observed that the fertilizers are the chemicals. They fastens the growth of the plant. When we add the fertilizers, that will quickens the growth of the plants. So that is why nowadays the farmers will prefer the fertilizers. These fertilizers are prepared in the industries. So these are the chemicals which are rich in the particular nutrients which are required for the growth of the plant. The plant which nutrients which are required for the plant is available in these fertilizers. So we can see different types of fertilizers in which are produced in the factory, such as urea, ammonium sulfate, superphosphate, then potash, NPK means nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. These are the required nutrients which are good for the growth of the plant. So they are prepared in the industries.
If you add all these organic fertilizers to the for the crop, what happens? It pollutes the soil and also water. It causes the water pollution and soil pollution. So it is better to add the organic manure, organic fertilizers in the crop cultivation. When you add the fertilizers, you have to take care how much amount is that manure is sufficient for the plant, is that required, is it necessary to does it results in a good qualitative yield at the end. So we have to take care how much the quality of the manure we are using and the sufficient. If you add excess also, it results in the weak plants. So and also in order to maintain the fertility of the soil, either you have to you have to replace the fertilizers with the organic manure, or you have to keep distance. You have to you have to leave the field. You have to leave the field uncultivated of between two crops. You have to leave the field. Otherwise, if you keep on continuously cultivate the crops in the same field, it will weaken the fertility of the soil. In order to replenish the soil with the nutrients, either you have to replace the fertilizers with the organic manure, or you have to leave the field for some time between two crops.
Use of manure improves the soil texture, means the soil will become very smooth, very soft, so the roots can breathe through this, and it helps for the healthy growth of the plant. And also it improves the water retaining capacity. The roots will able to uphold the required amount of water in its roots. The soil will capable of retaining the water for the growth of the plant.
The another method of replenishing the soil with the nutrients is crop rotation, changing the crops as per the season. Okay, once cropping one crop, and after some time cultivating another crop, changing the alternatively cultivating the crops. So that is nothing but crop rotation. So in the northern India, what happens, the people is to grow the legumes as a fodder in one season, and in the next season they used to crop this wheat. So when you change the crops like that, alternatively you crop, when you cultivate these crops, what happens, it will maintains, it will helps to replenish the soil with the nutrients. So, and also you have studied about these rhizobium bacteria. Okay, these rhizobium bacteria are present in these leguminous plants. So in the root nodules of the leguminous plants, what happens, they will fix the nitrogen in the atmosphere. The nitrogen fixation is done by these bacteria present in the root nodules of the peanuts and all. So this is how we can replenish the fertilizers, replenish the soil with the nutrients. Now let us discuss about what are the difference between these fertilizers and manure. Are they same? Let us discuss now. Okay, now I am going to discuss about what are the difference between these fertilizers and manure. Okay, fertilizers are man-made inorganic salt. Okay, fertilizers are man-made inorganic salt, and these are prepared by the human beings. This was prepared by the man. So they are inorganic salt, and these manure are the natural. We obtain this manure by the natural process. These are natural, and it was decomposition. We obtain the manure by the decomposition of the animal waste and the kitchen waste, decomposing material, we get the manure. When the dead plants and animals are decomposed, we get the manure. The next difference is these fertilizers are prepared in the factories. They are prepared in the factories, and this manure is prepared in the field. Manure is prepared in the field, and the fertilizers are prepared in the factories. It is very simple. Field means in the nearby fields where the crop is cultivated. It is very simple to prepare the manure. So next difference, it does not provide humus to the soil. The fertilizers does not provide humus to the soil, but these manure provides lot of humus to the soil. Manure provides lot of humus to the soil. The next difference is very rich in plant nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. The plants require these nutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium for the growth. So it was provided by the fertilizers. So fertilizers provide the nutrients which are required for the plants, nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. But these manure are relatively less rich in plant nutrients. It does not provide much. These are not rich in plant nutrients which is required for the plants. So these are the difference between the fertilizers and the manure. Okay, now I am going to discuss about the advantages of manure. Okay, what are the advantages of using the manure? The first advantage is it enhances the water holding capacity of the soil. It enhances the water holding capacity of the soil. So when you add the manure, it increases the water retainment in the soil. So the soil will retain, its capacity will increase when you add the manure. The next advantage is it makes the soil porous, due to which exchange of gases becomes easy. So when you add the manure, it increases the soil porous. The soil will become free. It loosens the soil. It turns the soil. It loosens the soil. So large quantity of exchange of gases can take place easily. The next advantage is it increases the number of friendly microbes. So when you add the microbes, it increases the number of friendly microbes, means it increases the decomposition process. So when these microbes will grow in the decomposing materials. So the number of the growth of the earthworms and these microbes will increase. So it will helps in losing the soil. It helps in increasing the nutrients of the soil. It improves the texture of the soil. So when you add the manure, it improves the texture of the soil. The soil will become very loose. The texture of the soil will become friendly to the growth of the soil. So these are the advantages of using the application of this manure. If you use the manure, these are the applications. Okay, in today's class we have discussed about the crops and what are the basic practices which are practiced during cultivating the crops. The first step in the agricultural practice is preparation of the soil. Second one is sowing the soil. Third one is adding the manure and fertilizers to the soil. In the next class, we will discuss the remaining agricultural practice in detail. Thank you, students.